Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I knew a punter who was really sharp. Really sharp. He could read a race better than most tipsters, spotted draw biases before they hit the papers, and had notebooks full of pace maps and sectional times. On paper, he had an edge. He should have been making money. But here's what actually happened. He went broke. Not because his selections were poor, they weren't, but because his staking and bankroll management were all over the place. He'd go big when he was confident, small when he was unsure, chase when he was down, and ease off just when he was about to hit form. The result? Long-term losses. And that's the brutal truth most punters don't want to face. Most people don't lose because of bad selection. They lose because of bad staking. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the side of betting that's rarely glamorous, but absolutely critical: staking and bankroll management. By the end of this, you'll understand three things. Why most punters lose, not because of their picks, but because of how they stake. The pros and cons of two main systems: fixed percentage staking versus Kelly staking. How to maintain emotional control during losing runs, which is where most bankrolls fall apart. And as always, stick with me until the end, because I'll give you a couple of things. Firstly, a free copy of my red flag method, a quick logical system to help you spot weak favourites, the kind of bets you don't need in your portfolio. And second, a reminder to like, review and subscribe to this podcast, because every week we're diving into the hidden structures of betting that can protect your bankroll and sharpen your edge. Alright, let's talk money management. Most punters believe their edge, or lack of it, lives in selections. If I could just pick more winners, I'd make more money. But here's the truth: even good selections can lose money with bad staking. For example, the chaser. A punter backs a 4-1 winner in the afternoon for £20. He's up £80. Then he loses three £50 bets chasing evening meetings. Suddenly he's down despite being right earlier. The hesitator. Another punter has a method that hits 20% winners at average odds of 6-1. That's a long-term profitable angle. But when he gets nervous, he stakes £5 on the winners and £50 on the losers. Again, the edge evaporates. Why does this happen? Well, it's emotional staking, decisions based on confidence, hunches or fear rather than logic. Inconsistency, chopping and changing stake sizes kills long-term maths. Bankroll drift. No fixed bank means that punters dip into everyday money, creating pressure. Selection matter, of course they do, but unless your staking matches your edge, the maths collapses. Betting is a numbers game. The winners and losers even out, but staking determines whether you survive to collect. Now let's talk about two main systems of staking: fixed percentage and Kelly staking. Fixed percentage staking is the simplest approach. You bet a fixed percentage of your bankroll on every selection. For example, start with £1,000 bankroll, stake 2%, £20 per bet. Bank grows to 1,200, stake rises to £24. Bank drops to £800, stake reduces to £16. The pros: it's easy to apply, it protects your bankroll, you'll never blow it all in one losing run. It keeps emotions in check, stake is always proportional. Some of the cons: growth can be slow. It doesn't maximise edge. Every bet is staked the same, whether value is strong or marginal. So the other side is Kelly staking. Kelly is a bit more advanced. It says you should bet proportionate to your perceived edge. So the formula is the stake percentage is the same as the value of odds minus the true odds divided by the value odds. So if a horse is 3-1, a 25% chance, you believe it's a 33% chance. True odds 2-1. The edge is 8%. Kelly says stake more aggressively because of your perceived advantage. So some of the pros: it maximises long-term growth. It reflects confidence and value. Some of the cons: it requires accurate odds assessment, which is hard for most punters to do. It's volatile, bankroll can swing heavily, and misjudged edges can cause ruin. The practical reality: most punters use a hybrid. They start with fixed percentage staking for stability and overlay a mini Kelly, increasing stakes slightly when value is very strong. The key is discipline. Whatever system you choose, stick to it. Don't chop and change. Now let's deal with the hardest part of betting: losing runs. Even the best systems lose. A 20% strike rate means 8 losers out of 10 regularly. Long losing runs are not a sign of failure, they're maths. The chaser's trap. You lose 5 bets in a row, double your next stake to get it back. That's how bankrolls vanish. The doubter's trap. After 10 losers, you abandon your system just before the winners arrive. The emotional spiral. Losing affects confidence. Confidence affects staking. Staking affects results. Downward spiral. So how do you control it? Firstly, expect losing runs. Build them into your plan. If your method has a 15% strike rate, calculate worst case losing streaks, often 25 plus in a row. Keep stakes proportional. That's why percentage staking matters. It scales down when you're cold. Separate bankroll. Never mix betting money with living money. Psychology safety is key. Focus on process, not results. Judge yourself on whether you have applied your system correctly, not whether the last bet won. And use records. Track bets, strike rate, return on investment. Numbers prove whether you're on the right path, even when variance feels brutal. Professional punters don't avoid losing runs, they accept them. What matters is survival. If your staking is sound, losing runs are just noise on the way to profit. So let's recap. Most punters don't lose because of poor picks, they lose because of poor staking. Fixed percentage staking is simple, safe, and keeps you in the game. Kelly staking can maximise growth, but demands precision and discipline. And losing runs are inevitable. Emotional control and bankroll separation are what carry you through. The unglamorous truth is this: betting success isn't about picking winners, it's about managing losers. If you can survive the bad runs, your edge plays out in the long term. That's why staking and bankroll management aren't optional extras, they're the foundations. So next time you think about your betting, don't just ask, who do I fancy? Ask, how much should I stake? How will this affect my bankroll if I lose? Am I prepared for the losing runs? Get those questions right, and suddenly betting stops being a roller coaster and starts being a long-term game. And if you want a free tool to help you stay disciplined, especially with favourites that look solid but aren't, download my red flag method. There's a link in the description, and it's a checklist you could apply in under 5 minutes a day to spot and oppose weak favourites, the kind of bets that drain your bankroll. And finally, if you're finding this podcast valuable, do me a favour, like, subscribe and leave a review. It helps me reach more punters and means you won't miss future episodes on topics just like this one, the ones that protect your bank and sharpen your edge. Thanks for listening. Bet with structure, bet with discipline, and remember, it's not the winners that define you, it's how you survive the losers. And as always, win quietly.